everyone, it's Maddie. Welcome back to my channel. And per usual, if Cat's Tail is in the video, you know exactly who it is. It is Tinkerbell. But anyways, this is a video that I've wanted to do for a long time, probably since the end of 2020 or beginning of 2021. Just haven't had the opportunity to get around and do it, and I wasn't sure how I was going to make this video. It's not going to be super long, but it's dealing with my personal experience, what LEVEMIR is like as a long-acting insulin, and the reason why it will be my long-acting backup no matter what happens in a situation where I don't have my pump or I decide to, leave a pump or whatever. So, first of all, I'll give you a backstory as to why I ended up with LEVEMIR instead of long-acting Lantus or Basaglar. So, for those of you who don't know much about my diabetes story or journey as far as like what I've been using to manage, for the first 10 months of my diagnosis from like July 2018 through May of 2019, I did solely insulin injections. So I was doing a Lantus at night or long-acting Basaglar with Humalog. And then when I switched to the Omnipod Dash from May of 2019 through September of 2020, I did just Humalog. And then the Omnipod Dash was giving me a lot of grief, and I was done with it. I wanted to go back to shots. And I was so heartbroken from an insulin pump that I thought I never ever was going to go to one again. And then after having quite the discussion with my endocrinologist, I had kindly asked her if I could try LEVEMIR, which is insulin Detemir. It is a different long-acting than Basaglar or Lantus or any glargine-based products. There's a couple reasons why I wanted this. One, I was constantly having severe burning from Lantus every time I'd inject it. It was a great long-acting, but I didn't want to feel like I was in pain after every single time I was injecting. And number two, of course, like at that time in my life, I was finishing dental hygiene school and all different things, but I always had it in the back of my head, like, if this is the long-acting insulin that I'm going to be on for the rest of my life, I might as well get used to it. Because this is the only safe one I believe as of now. This things that could change or could be changing. This is the only safe long-acting that a woman can take to have a child. I believe glargine is not considered safe for a developing baby, nor is Traceba. There's a couple of other long-actings out there. Those aren't considered safe. LEVEMIR is the only safe one that you can have during pregnancy. Not that I told her, not that I'm trying to have a baby or something, I said, but heaven forbid an unexpected pregnancy would arise and I'm still on injections or whatever. I said I wanted to have this in my body and be used to it and not have to worry about it. And she's like, yeah, I understand what you're getting at. Totally fine. I get it. So I went on this and took LEVEMIR straight for approximately 2 months before I went into a tandem pump in November of 2020, and then come November-ish, December-ish of this past year of 2021, I took kind of too many pump breaks that lasted each a week long, and it's because I was having issues with sites bleeding and, not finding really good absorption sites, and I was just sick and tired of being attached to something, so then I went to this. Ironically, though, this is the same insulin pen that I had since November of 2020. There's 50 units left in here, and the reason why I've kept this as a reminder on my desk to say, Maddie, you gotta make this video at some point. So this insulin in here is almost 2 years old, room temperature, but this pen itself does not expire. Well, technically the pens, I have the original set of pens that I've been using since 2020. They don't expire if you keep them in the fridge till 6 of 2022. So I figured this past Christmas, I'm gonna go off my pump the whole entire time I'm not at work. I'm just gonna I wanna have a break. So my first couple of days in, I took a brand new pen out of the fridge, and my blood sugars over Christmas were awful. It was like blood sugars were 200 to 300, or 200 to 240, 180 to 200. Then when I finally got back home, I did some traveling for Christmas. I put my pump back on, and it was like, boom, blood sugars went back down, and I'm like, well, so much for a pump break. So I'm thinking like I had one nasty pen in there, or one bad pen that had some faulty insulin in it that I ended up picking up, and as soon as I went back on the pump, it was great. But anyways, I love LEVEMIR as my long-acting when it works and functions properly for a couple of different reasons. Like I said, one, because it's safe to use as a female for pregnancy, but the other reason why I like it is because it gives you more flexibility with being able to split your dosing. And that's because if you don't know what long-acting insulin does, I think I did a video explaining the different types. If I remember, I should link that. I probably won't link it though, so then you can harp on me in the comments saying, Maddie, you never linked the video. But if you don't know anything about long-acting insulin, if you don't read up on it, or you're newly diagnosed, or you're coming across this channel not knowing exactly why you're taking long-acting insulin if you're on injection. So long-acting insulin is kind of designed to mimic or mirror the glucose that your liver will spill out over a period of 24 hours. So naturally, your body, when it functions, non-diabetics' bodies will release glucose from the liver as blood sugar levels drop and change throughout the day. So with type 1 diabetes, we don't produce any insulin. So therefore, we don't have any insulin to combat anything we eat for carbohydrates or fast rises in glucose. But we also don't have that nice steady stream of insulin that'll be spilled out throughout the day to combat liver glucose that is spilled. So that's why they have the basal bolus method. If you're on a pump like me, your long acting or your basal is administered to you in microboluses every 5 minutes, I believe. And it is measured in units per hour on your pump. So like most of the time I'm like 1 to 1.2 units per hour. Over a course of 24 hours, it would equivalent to 24 to 30 units of long-acting insulin here, given in one dose. And this is chemically designed to release slowly into your body versus a rapid acting insulin that once you inject it, it will begin working within 15 minutes. So the long acting, as I said, is designed to cover your liver spillage of glucose. And one of the major differences between the long acting of Lantus or Toujeo and Tresiba versus Levemir is that this is a little bit shorter as far as its duration of action, meaning how long does it last? For me personally, I noticed that by hour 16 to 17, maybe to 18, this is starting to wear off. So I found it best when I was on this to split my dose, or I would do a whole big dose of 24 units at night before I went to bed, and then about 12 hours later, I would inject another 6 to 8 units to kind of cover me throughout the day. So I was definitely taking more insulin than what I would be taking as a basal on a pump. But it worked out pretty well, and I never had any crazy side effects from it, causing super bad lows or anything like that. And as I said, it also is a non-acidic type insulin, meaning the pH level in here is not low. So when it was inserted into my body, I wasn't noticing any burning sensations. So to me, the benefits of having Levemir far outweighed having to deal with Lantus. The only issue with Levemir is, as I said, it only lasts it may last longer in other people's bodies, but for me, for whatever reason, the duration of action was only anywhere from 16 to 18 hours. And my endocrinologist said that it is true, it is a little bit shorter duration, so this is why people are finding it better with long-acting insulins to split their dose with Levemir. I know a lot of people who are still on injections still prefer to split their dose for Lantus or Toujeo or Tresiba or whatever they choose to use if they're doing injections and not bolusing from a pump or having basal insulin spilled out from a pump, every 5 minutes or so. So that's really the only downfall, is it's not like Basaglar or Lantus, where I noticed if I injected X units, it would last that full 24 hours, if not maybe a touch longer, or right around that time. I didn't have to really worry about splitting a dose, although towards the end between, me transitioning from a pump to getting really comfortable with injections, kind of a few years ago, I was experimenting with half a dose in the morning, half a dose in the evening, and I find that splitting long-acting insulin works better for me no matter what long-acting insulin I end up taking. So that's just another suggestion for you guys. Maybe I should do a separate video talking about kind of how you figure out how to split it. It's not the easiest thing to figure out, and I still don't even think I have it fully mastered either. But I wanted to pop on here and just share with you kind of a little bit about Levemir. I actually do really like the pens that it comes into as opposed to the Eli Lilly product pens. I like that the dial is really easy to twist. And like any other long-acting insulin, you keep clicking and it'll show you how many units are left in here. So I have 42 units left in this pen. And then when you push the button down, it's actually pretty nice. It's obviously not going to click very nicely because I don't have anything injected in it. But when you push it down, the dial spins super nice. It doesn't have this clicky noise, but it's just very smooth. The button to push down is very smooth. It's not like this. Whereas I feel like the Eli Lilly pens, they have more of a groove etched inside of them, and I felt like I always had to push super hard against my abdomen or my thigh or wherever I was injecting this long-acting insulin to. So like I said, I full-heartedly believe LEVEMIR is my go-to insulin, and I kind of wanted to, like I said, make this video to let you guys know if you're not aware of the different types of long-acting insulin, there is LEVEMIR out there for you, as well as Lantus, which you're probably very familiar with, and then I believe Toujeo is just a higher concentration of Lantus. I think it's the same glargine type insulin, and then Tresiba is its own insulin as well. I believe LEVEMIR and Tresiba are made by Novo Nordisk, which is the company that makes Novolog. I take Humalog, which is made by Eli Lilly. Basaglar and Lantus are by Eli Lilly as well. So it's just depending on the brands that you prefer. Now, I haven't heard too many people who have allergies to LEVEMIR. I hear people have more allergies to Humalog in particular, as well as Lantus. I don't know why that is. It's very rare to have an allergy to synthetic insulin because of how they're manufacturing it, but I also believe that this is probably a pretty safe one for allergies. Now, is there somebody that could be allergic to it? Absolutely, but I never had any issues with any insulins I've taken. So, yeah, that's kind of my 2 cents on LEVEMIR, and I hope you guys enjoyed this very short but informative video. Stay tuned. I'm going to talk about, in my next video, my COVID-19 vaccine experiences from shot 1 through shot 3, as I got my 3rd vaccine yesterday. So, if you enjoyed this video, give it a big thumbs up. Feel free to hit that subscribe button. I post as often as I can about type 1 diabetes plus more. Next time for another video, take care, God bless, be kind, spread positivity, and be thankful. And I love you all from the bottom of my heart. Thank you for continuing to support my channel, even if I'm not on here as regularly as I'd like to be. And I'm going to do my best to continue to keep this channel going no matter what happens. So let's just keep rolling with the punches here, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye, everyone.